So, what's the deal on all these inexpensive, tiny shortwave radios? In this video, we'll take a look at the HRD model 701. Hi, and welcome to the Gadget Talk channel, where we do reviews and how-tos on a variety of electronic gadgets that catch my eye. If you find this video helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. I really appreciate it. In this video, we're going to take a look at a version of a tiny shortwave listening receiver whose form factor and listed specifications caught my eye. The main point of shortwave listening is enjoying broadcasts from many parts of the world. Shortwave listening enthusiasts like to scan the bands and pick out signals from distant locations. This mode of communications declined with the advent of the internet. However, shortwave broadcasts remain a good way to keep up with things from around the globe from a different perspective than your local media's. It often helps to understand foreign languages, though many broadcasters transmit in English. With the current troubles in Eastern Europe, broadcasters like the BBC have dusted off older shortwave transmitters and have resumed transmissions in the HF bands. The Han-Rong Da Model 701 is a slightly different version of the Model 700. As with a lot of products coming from China, it's quite possible you'll see this same radio with several different retail brand markings. I'll be looking at the Model 700 in a separate video, marketed by Raddy under the Raddy brand with a model number of RF750. The HRD 701 is smaller than a deck of cards with external measures of about 3.5 inches tall by 2.5 inches across and 1.25 inches deep. It has a faux military design with shield-protected dials and military-esque markings. I got the tan version from a vendor at AliExpress. I hadn't used that marketplace before, so this purchase was also a test of AliExpress as well as the radio itself. As for AliExpress, you need to be careful regarding pricing. Many product sales pages have a variety of choices you can make, and somehow most of the choices I wanted when shipped to the United States were always more than what was displayed in its initial sales page. I ordered 2 items on April 23rd, and both arrived on May 12th. That was much faster than the worst-case dates listed on their website, and I got email updates along each step of the shipping journey. Both products arrived without damage. Now, onto the radio. This little radio has, at its heart, a digital signal processor. That means it's a software-defined radio, which means you can jam a bunch of functionality into a small package, since most of the radio magic happens on a chip. The 701 receives traditional AM and FM broadcast channels, shortwave AM signals from 4.750 to 21.850 megahertz, and the U.S. weather bands from 162.4 to 162.5 megahertz. Like many small receivers in this price range, it won't receive ham single sideband transmissions. Most commercial shortwave stations broadcast using AM signals, so that's not a problem. It can also play music from a micro SD card or act as a Bluetooth speaker. In these modes, there's also a user-selectable 6-function EQ or equalizer mode to match the style of music that's playing. Since it also has an LCD display, you can also set a clock and set a sleep timer or alarm. Additionally, it will store up to 114 channels in memory for easy access. These channels are split between the AM, FM, and shortwave bands. After using the radio a bit, setting a memory channel near the beginning of each HF broadcast band would be a good idea. Tuning through the entire HF frequency range is easy but tedious. For example, set the 60 meter band at 4.75 megahertz, 49 meters at 5.9, 41 meters at 7.2, 31 meters at 9.4, and so on. There's a good chart on Wikipedia that lists HF broadcast bands and when they're most used. All in all, this tiny package has a lot of capability. Let's take a look at the radio and what comes in the package. Okay, so here's a quick overview of what you've got. You've got the owner's manual here. It's pretty brief, but it describes the important things, such as selecting the FM band for your part of the world, setting channels, the sleep timer, and that kind of thing. Comes with a wrist strap that will fit on the little loop here in the back of the radio. It comes with a charging cable, a Class C charging cable, and then of course the radio itself and a nice little bag to put the radio in. Let's take a bit closer look at the radio itself. So here's the front of the radio, and as I hope you can see, it's got the time listed right there. A large speaker that takes up a great deal of the case. This is the tuning knob right here that goes around, and this one goes completely around since it has that wide HF band. On the top, there are a number of little dials. This is the volume dial. It's recessed, so you have to kind of reach down in there. And then the 6 basic controls you often find on digital music devices: on, off, menu setting, start, pause, band select, and then moving through the bands with the little double triangle and bar type signal to move left and to move right. On this side is just the side of the radio where you have a little cover over the edge of the tuning knob right there. On the back, you have the Class C connector to charge the battery. You've got a slot for a TF or a micro SD card right here. The door comes off, and you can see it has a BL5C style battery, which is good because these are available separately on Amazon and a number of other retailers. So on this side, you kind of got the mode switch. Again, it's got a little shield, so you have it in radio. You can move it into Bluetooth, where you can connect it to like your phone for streaming. You can set it in the music mode and play music off the TF card. So we'll move that back over to radio because that's primarily what we want. And then on the top, we also then have this extendable antenna, and it comes up several sections to allow better reception in the shortwave bands. Now, one of the things that you probably are going to want to do, and I'll overlay a picture right here, is to get an external antenna that you can clip to this antenna right here. There are a couple of them on Amazon. HD Data has one for about $15, $16, as does Sangean, that look to be essentially the same, but it's a spool of wire on a little retractable case that's really handy, that you can extend out about 20 feet. Clip it to something, and then clip the other end to the antenna itself, extending the length of the antenna for better HF reception. And we'll see that here when we go outside and try to get some HF reception to let you know what's happening here with this little radio. So to turn it on, you just press the power button. Radio turns on, and it tells you the mode that it's in. In this case, we're in shortwave. We're at the bottom of the range, 4750, as you can see. And then to tune, we can just go up and down like this. if we push the tuning dial and go kind of a long, fast movement, it'll move into scan mode, and it just counts up the frequencies. And then when you get close to something you want, you can move the dial just one click and it'll stop. You can also do that by pushing the little lower right hand button here on the top, a long press, and that will also put it into the scan mode. And hopefully you can see that as it moves through. Now, one of the things you're probably going to want to do that I mentioned just a moment ago is to put in some channels. And so here I do have some channels plugged in. And so if I press the mode button, or if I press the set button, I get the channel, and I have 10 channels set. So this is the top of the band. So it moved from 4 to 21.4 very quickly. Again, press the set button. I can press down. I'm back to 475, 59, and that allows me to go through this much quicker than just scrolling and scrolling or waiting for it to count up. In the lower left is the band.
Yesterday's high temperature was 102 degrees and the low 73 degrees.
This is the weather channel for the Phoenix area. You can see that the little green light is illuminated, indicating that we're on the frequency. That'll light up with the HF and the FM as well. We'll press again. This is FM. This is AM.
Quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion.
So I'm not going to linger on any of those so I don't end up with any copyright problems, but we've worked our way through the various modes now, and so you can see that it works pretty well. Obviously, we've got some static going here in the shortwave band. That's part and parcel of shortwave listening. Now we'll go outside and listen and see what the difference can be with the internal or the attached antenna versus an external antenna, and what kind of reception you can expect from this little guy. Okay, so here we have the 701. I've got it set to the AM band.
We are a fat country. But I don't understand why we're being the word police, and that somehow is racist. Listen, these people don't like the word fat.
AM
These people
station.
don't like the word obese. I get
We'll
it.
go over here
They don't like
and
it.
we'll go to band.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry
This is
business.
FM.
Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
10 to 20 miles per hour in the afternoon.
Here's the weather band.
Up to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon. Friday night, clear.
Looks like a windy day tomorrow for us here. Here we're up in the 13740 megahertz. There's kind of a station coming in. It's got some music playing. Now let's put the MLA 30 external antenna on and see if we get something a little better.
Saludos amigos. Uno de los más relevantes días de La Habana es la actual calzada de 10 de octubre. Por antaño se llamó Calzada de Jesús del Monte. Se extiende en estos momentos desde la llamada.
The MLA 30 is an active antenna, which means it's got a little voltage in it. So it made quite a difference in that connection. Let's try just an external wire antenna on this known channel and see what we get there.
Estaba situado en los terrenos de una ingenua propiedad de don Francisco de Lara y tuvo su iglesia en 1695 que el obispo de Compostela designaría como parroquial auxiliar de una de las.
Okay, so that's obviously a Spanish station. This is a Sangean 20-foot long wire with a little clip on the external antenna, and that did pretty well. So again, we'll bring out the station up with just the built-in antenna, and you can make that final determination here in the shortwave band.
Dentro entonces fue declarado cabeza de partido rural y más tarde el obispo de Escala le otorgó la categoría de parroquia.
So with that built-in antenna, you've got something, you can hear it, but there's a bit of noise that the external antennas were able to amplify that signal coming into the radio. So, what do you think? There's quite a lot of capability in a tiny form factor. Here are a couple of my thoughts after playing with the radio for a little bit. As expected, an external antenna makes a big difference in the shortwave frequencies. That's the case with my larger, more expensive radios too. I'll link to a couple of antennas in the description below, or you can just use a long length of wire with an alligator clip on one end to clip to the radio's external antenna. The small tuning knob allows you to scan through a lot of frequencies in a hurry, but that also makes fine-tuning delicate. The little green tuning light on the face of the radio helps with that, but tuning can be a bit touchy. A couple of long knob rotations will put the unit in scanning mode so you don't wear out your finger. As I mentioned earlier, programming some memories to break up the HF band will make tuning easier when you want to switch bands. The radio also doesn't have a headphone jack. That's not a big deal for me as I seldom use one, but it's something you'll need to be aware of. USB charging means you can use a power bank or even a small solar panel. What's helpful is that the BL5C batteries this radio uses are available at retailers, so it's easy to carry a couple with you. They take up almost no room and are light. Speaking of light, the HRD 701 would make a good choice for hiking or camping or your bug-out bag. The large shortwave coverage along with AM, FM, and weather bands make this a great tool for staying connected when out in the boonies or in areas where severe weather can limit other communications. AM and FM reception was good and the sound quality was solid. Should this be your main shortwave listening radio? Probably not. It's great for a go bag and emergencies, but if you're seriously thinking about getting into shortwave listening, spend a bit more. Larger radios from Tecsun and C. Crane, for example, will have keypads allowing you to go directly to your desired frequency and some other handy features such as single sideband reception. If your goal is a little tag-along AM/FM radio that allows you to play your own tunes or link to a streaming service on your phone, this would be a good choice. For its size and price, this is a surprisingly nice little receiver. I've got a couple of links in the description below to this radio and related products. Some are affiliate links that provide some commissions that help buy more gadgets to review on the channel. If you'd like to learn more about the 700 version of the radio, meet me over here for a review of the Raddy 750, Radiodity's version of the Model 700 of this radio. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please click the thumbs up button below the video and subscribe to the Gadget Talk channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching.